XTC's progression, you can hear the changes in once Steve Lillywhite and Hugh Padgham were producing them, and they started using the townhouse and the stone room and that Phil Collins drum sound and all those sorts of things were all part of designing more and more elaborate studio buildings, floating rooms and extraordinary surfaces and moving bits and pieces to change the sound. And then someone invented 8-track digital, and people said, well, we can do most of this at home, and it'll cost 100 quid to do what we were paying 1,000 for. And the record companies loved that, obviously. And so the budget started coming down and the studio started disappearing. I think what makes the albums particularly stand out from each other is the difference between the producer being an engineer and the producer being a musician.
Sure.
And the engineered albums have quite a different feel from bringing in Todd or Mummer. Everybody ignores Mummer, and I think
it's a fantastic record.
Steve's production on that is so musical, really musical. And although Oranges and Lemons is very much a poppy sort of record and very polished and slick and very much of its time, Paul Fox is a musician first and foremost. You know, he's a jazz keyboard player, and so it feels like it. You can hear that difference. So when Steve Lillywhite and Hugh Padgham get hold of it, it has a different type of sense about it. The same, I guess, with Haydn and Gus. And then the difference between tracks that Mutt Lange produced compared to John Leckie and so on. And also, I think it's interesting, you can hear the characters of the producers.
Yeah, very much so, yeah. I think every producer has brought something different.
Leckie leaves space for everybody to do their thing. He doesn't over-embellish. And I love that about his work. You know, he's a brilliant man because his whole history comes from being totally non-musical, he says. So there's absolutely no way he's a musician. He grew up in an environment where music wasn't there. So he's an engineer. Hugh Padgham's an engineer. But others are musicians, and that influences the nature of the XTC albums.
Definitely.
It's worth listening to for that. It's a fascinating thing, the way in which Andy, being so musically visionary, and other musicians jar or succeed